Good morning. Today we are continuing working with those percentages with PO31. I can order fractions, decimals, and percentages. We can figure out what is the least to what is the greatest. When we work with different types of numbers, what do you think is the best thing to do when we need to compare them? Oh, was that Connor? Say it a little louder for me. Get them to the same form, right? So if we're looking at this, we see percentages, we see decimals, we see fractions, put them in the same format, and it'll be so much easier to put them in order. If they're all percentages, we can see what's the smallest percentage, what's the biggest percentage. Okay, so we're going to need to put them into the same format. Madison.
Oh, I was just gonna give the answer.
Okay, we're not giving answers right now.
Okay.
Not quite yet. In this objective, you are going to be ordering the values written as fractions, decimals, and percentages. Yes, it is more practice with that converting. Just what we've been doing in the last two objectives. So we're not learning something new. We're just practicing working with what we've already learned. But we wouldn't do this if it wasn't important. Practice is what helps us really master the work. So it's going to make that test even easier because we're getting more practice. So let's look at how this would work. So order each group of values from least to greatest. Write your answer using, oh, this is key. I still have friends who forget this. We're going to convert them all to be the same. They're going to all be percentages or all be decimals or all be fractions. But then when we put them in order, our final answer needs to be ordering the original value. So if originally it was a fraction, we need to put that fraction in, not the percent we converted it to. So let's see what that looks like. We have 28%, 0.3, 0.71, and 40%. Does it matter if I convert them to percentages or I convert them to decimals? Does it matter which way we do it? No. You decide which one is easier to work with. Would it be easier to put them as all decimals or easier to put them as all percentages? Either way, you're going to get the same answer. So if we look at 28%, 0.3, 0.71, and 40%, which way should we convert it? What way would you like, Melanie? Okay, so we already have 28%. What would 0.3 be as a percent, Melanie? 30%. What would 0.71 be, Tom? 71%. And then we have 40%. So now I can put them in order from least to greatest, because I have 28%, 30%, 71%, and 40%. It's really easy to see what's the least and what's the greatest. What is going to be my first number that I'm going to write down? Ava? 28%. That is the smallest percentage that's up there. What's my next one going to be? Layla? 30% is next, but what am I going to write? 0.3, I'm going to write that original value. Even though it's 30%, I'm going to write it as a decimal because that's how it was given to me. What's my next one, Liv? 40%. And what's the last one? What is my greatest number, Madison? 0.71. So you always have to convert it back to the original value when you give your answer. Let's look at our next one. 3/20, 18%, 11/100, 1/5, 9/100. It doesn't matter if we put them all as fractions, all as decimals, all as percentages. No matter which way we convert to, we're going to see what's the smallest value and what's the greatest value. Okay, so whatever works best for you. Which way do we want to convert to? Which way do you want to convert, Madison? All right, Madison wants percentages. So let's look at this. What would 3/20ths be as a percent? Hannah Mae? Or wait, that was Madeline's hand. Sorry, I saw a hand go up. Madeline. Yeah, because remember, our magic number is putting 100 as our denominator. In order to convert the fraction, we need it to be over a 100. So 20 times 5 gets me 100. So 3 times 5 makes that 1,500. Madison wanted to make it into a percentage. So what is 1,500? What percent?
15%.
Yeah, so that would be 15%. Then we have 18%. That's already a percent. 11/100ths. What percent would that be, Marina? 11%. 1/5. What percent would that be? Connor? Yeah, because we have to go to 100 on the bottom. So 5 times 20 gets us 100. 1 times 20 is 20. So we know it is 20%. What about 9/100ths? What percent is that? Layla, say it louder for me. 9%. I thought you said 90 at first. 9%. So 9/100ths is 9%. So now that I have all 5 percentages, which one is my smallest value? Remember, we're not going to write it all as percents. We're going to write the original value. Madeline, what should I write first? 0.09. That 9/100ths is my smallest one. What comes next? Mena. 11/100ths, 0.11. So I'm just going to cross off the ones I've done so I make sure I don't miss any. What is my next one going to be? What comes after 11/100ths? Liam? That 15%, which is 3/20ths. What comes next? I have that 18% and I have that 1/5. Which one should be next, Hannah Mae? 18%. Because that 20% is bigger than 18%. So that means I'm left with 1/5. And my comma looks like a 1. Let me fix that. So my final answer is in their original values, but I used them as percentages to make sure that I could compare them equally. 1/5, I don't know how that compares to 18% until I convert 1/5 to the percentage. Okay. So it makes it easier when we convert to all the same thing. Could we have put them all as decimals? Yeah, we could have converted to decimals and we would have gotten the exact same answer. Could we put them all as fractions? Yep. But we would want to make sure if we convert to fractions, what should our denominator be for every fraction? We want to compare with common denominators. What should that denominator be, Zelda?
100.
100, magic number for this unit. Percent out of 100. Let's do one more together. 83%, 9/10ths, 72%, 82/100ths, and 8/10ths. How should I convert this one? What do you think, Jimena? All right, let's go with percentages. 83% is already percent. What is, let me erase this so I have numbers right. What is 9/10ths? What percent is that, Jimena? 90%. 72% is already a percent. What about 82/100ths, Dom? 82%. And 8/10ths. Madeline? 80%. How did you get to 80%, Madeline? Yeah. To go from 10 to 100, we multiplied by 10. So 8 times 10 gives me that 80. So now that I know my percentages, which value is my smallest value? Kelly?
72%.
72% is that smallest one listed. I'm going to cross it off because I've used it already. What is my next value, Layla? 0.82, that 82 hundredths. So I'm going to cross that off because I've used that one already. Oh, uh-oh. I'm looking at what's left and I'm seeing a mistake. Do you want to change that, Layla? 8/10, because that's 80%, and 8/10 is smaller than 82. So I'm going to put 8/10 and then put 82 hundredths. Now I'm left with 83% and 90%. Which one am I going to put, Callie? 83%. So that leaves me with that 9/10 as my last value. So always in making sure that we put the original value in there, but we are comparing those percentages. Sometimes we make a mistake when we're crossing off the ones that we've used already, and then, now 80% is smaller than 82%. That's okay. Catch your mistakes as you're going. So double checking your work. It's easy to make a simple mistake like that. That's why we just look over our final answers. You're going to do the rest on your own. And then at the bottom, it's time for review. Write the other two forms of each value. And remember, if you have a fraction, you need to put it in its simplest form. So what can we divide out of the numerator and the denominator? So remember, converting between the fraction, the decimal, and the percentage. What would 28 hundredths look like as a fraction? Zelda?
28 over 100?
28 over 100. Is that my final answer?
No.
No, because I can simplify that down. I can divide a 4 out of it. 28 divided by 4 is 7. 100 divided by 4 is 25. So then I have my 28 hundredths as a decimal. What percent would that be, Zelda?
That would be 28%.
28%. So that's how you fill in that box. You're converting all three, fraction, decimal, percentage. They give you one, you write the missing ones. If it's a fraction, make sure you simplify it down as far as you can go. If we had done 28 hundredths and divided by 2, we would have gotten 14 fiftieths. And we could have divided that by another 2 to get 7 25ths. Sometimes we find the biggest number to simplify down. Sometimes we have to simplify multiple times, and that's okay as long as we get the simplified number as our final answer. Any questions on today's assignment? If you are working on this at home, I hope you are well. I hope to see you soon. Have a wonderful day.